phrase this week, and the phrase is the bow. It's a big phrase, old phrase. It says the bow has been renewed in my hands. Okay. In the Bible, there's a book, a story about a guy called Job, and he went through loads and loads of different, like, just terrible circumstances. I'll give you a few of them. Like these two groups of people, like, stole everything he had and killed all his servants. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters. They died in like a big storm, and then basically whatever he had left got burned in a fire that was started by lightning. So that sucks. It's pretty unlucky. But throughout this story, he uses this phrase, and it says the phrase is the bow has been renewed in my hands. And what he's really talking about is getting a second wind. Okay, you guys understand what I mean by a second wind? I'm thinking about it from a soccer standpoint. You know, when you're playing and you're really tired, and then something happens, and all of a sudden you have this little bit of extra energy that you kind of didn't think you had. Do you know what I'm talking about? Second wind? Alrighty. You know, many times when we have a second wind, you know, a lot of people stop or rest, or they think that's what they should do. They should stop and rest, and then they'll get their second wind. But what this story is really talking about is that this guy Job, he gathered his energy while he was moving. He gathered energy while he was doing stuff, not, you know, so he got it through the act of doing, not through the act of stopping. And as I start to think from a soccer standpoint, anytime I've experienced like a second wind in a game, it was after a big play that I'd made. It wasn't after a big stop or a big rest. You know, I didn't rest on the sideline and then it was after I made a big tackle or won a big header or made a really good pass. That kind of seemed to give me that second wind. And really what it's about is you got to learn how to fight when you're weary. You know, keep going, keep fighting all the time. And sometimes achieving our goals, and that's what obviously we've been talking about a lot, right? Achieving our goals, achieving our dreams, it can feel like a big fight. So many times we feel tired or we feel fatigued. But what you've got to learn, guys, what you have to learn is sometimes, most of the time, fatigue isn't physical, it's mental. Okay, sometimes a little bit spiritual as well, okay? But if you keep moving, okay, you will be renewed. Okay, if you keep moving, if you keep going, if you do not grow weary, if you do not get tired, you will be rewarded eventually. Okay, if you can just keep finding a way to get going, you will gain energy as you go. Because the biggest mistake people make is they stop to get their second wind, and then they forget to start again. Okay, they never actually start over and they quit, and they never get back. Okay, tell a story about a guy who was flying his airplane, and he wrecked his airplane in the Andes Mountains. The Andes are this very, very treacherous kind of mountain range. He survived the crash, but he's kind of just lying there in the snow next to this wrecked plane. Really, he knew he was dead. He kind of knew, okay, this is it. So as he's lying there and sitting there in the snow, he starts to think about his family, and the first thing he kind of thought about was, if my family don't find my body, then they won't get my life insurance money. So I need to move to a place where they might find my body. So he starts to move, and he gets to this, let's call it like a big rock that's kind of exposed, and he thinks, okay, when the search planes come, you know, tomorrow, the next day, they'll find my body here, my family will be taken care of. So he's sitting on this rock, and he just keeps thinking about his family, and as he's thinking about his family, he keeps moving, and keeps moving, and he keeps moving some more, and he keeps moving for 2 days, and eventually he walks into this village, and he's saved. He's rescued by the fact that he had this motivation that kept him going, kept him moving, and he recovered. Now you can imagine him walking into this village, okay? First of all, he survived the plane crash, okay? Then he's been just traveling through the snow, through the mountains for 2 days. He's frostbitten everywhere, okay? But when he was rescued, when the people finally got there to rescue him, he said, I would never have gone through that hell for me. He said he'd never have gone through that hell for him. It was for his family. It was for something bigger than him. And as he moved, as he thought about that as family, as he thought about what motivated him, you know, he was renewed. He gained energy, right? If he'd have stayed where he was, he'd have just died up on the mountain. And we've talked about that a lot, haven't we? Talked about, and specifically, we've called it our 68. You know, what's our 68? Or what's our Katrina? You know, what's our hurricane? Because sometimes chasing our goals feels like you're going up a mountain, or feels like you come down a mountain, or feels like you've been in a plane wreck. Okay, there are times when you don't feel like going on, and you've got to hold on to something to keep going. You know, really, God made you for more, okay? God made you with unlimited potential. Unlimited potential, if only you're willing to go and unlock it. I work with a guy called Bill Gillespie. Bill Gillespie, he's the head strength and conditioning coach at Liberty University. For drug-free athletes, he's the strongest man in the world. He's 52. He can bench 804 pounds. It's basically a car. He can bench press a car. That's unbelievable. But he was telling me this the other day. He said when he was younger, he used to dream of benching 325 pounds. That was his goal. That was his dream. And he would tell his workout buddies, his training partners, man, if I could just bench 325, that would be really, really strong. And as he got close to that, what he realized was he was limiting himself. Yeah, he was limiting himself from fulfilling his potential. Nobody will limit you but you. Okay, I know we've all got that teacher at school that kind of doesn't like us and likes to put us down, okay? That makes us feel bad. Some of you guys have got a coach that tells you you're not going to make anything in soccer, okay? Those people can't limit you. Don't let them, okay? You will limit you, but don't let them. Guys, at the Adam Godwin Soccer Academy, we don't have any off-season, okay? There's no off-season, okay? We train year-round, and you guys are now entering this kind of tricky period where club is finishing. High school doesn't really start now until, well, probably February, maybe even March for some schools, okay? But let me tell you something really, really important, okay? You don't deserve any time off. You don't deserve any time off. Okay, I know you guys are at the end of a pretty long fall. Some of you guys worked really hard this summer and you guys start thinking, you know what? Thanksgiving, can't wait for Thanksgiving, can't wait for Christmas, I'll take some time off. You don't deserve any time off. Understand what I'm saying? What you deserve is to improve. You deserve to get better. Okay, and taking time off doesn't do that. So I'll finish by saying this. Some of you guys are going to take the next 3 months off. Some of you guys sitting right here are going to take the next 3 months off, okay? And what that's going to mean is all of your hard work is going to be lost. Okay, all of it's going to be lost, and by the time February gets here, you guys are going to be worse soccer players. Some of you guys are going to work your tails off and do extra training and do extra running and work on your weaknesses and perfect what you're really, really good at. And you guys are going to enter 2013, and 2013 is going to be the best year of soccer you've ever had. Okay? You've got to align your expectations with reality. If you want to get better, you've got to put in the work. Okay? If you don't put in the work, then you won't. All right? I can help you. I'd love to help you. Every single week we do speed and agility training out here. We do private coaching sessions, small group coaching sessions where there's no more than 8 players in it. And then in December and January we're going to do our elite winter training sessions. Some of you guys came to it last year when it was over at Randolph College. Those are great sessions, 3 before Christmas, 3 after Christmas. The Liberty University soccer players come not to coach you, to train with you and against you, to raise the level of competition. All right, I'd love to help you guys as you guys continue to chase your goals and your dreams, all right? Thanks so much for coming to these Friday nights. It's meant an awful lot to me. See you guys next time.
Iron Man.
Thank you, Adam.
Just tell your dad to call or email. You get email. If you've got an email, just send it to me. And then
Especially when you're hyper.
you did a great job. You're really proud of you. Pushing things that things you can lift, still pushing.
Oh, yeah. I'll give that to him. Okay. I would like it. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll do weekly training sessions. Speed and agility, private training, and small groups.
Yeah.
And that'll be every single week. Well done, buddy. Safe coach, Adam. Good job, man. You did a great job.
What?
Awesome. I'd love to see you. Boys, well done.